Hi, my name's Justin. My story's from 2016, the summertime. My wife and I and her two daughters and then our one daughter lived in Washington State, and we wanted to take our kids to a theme park. And the closest one really to us is in Idaho. It used to be Dollywood, and it turned into Silverwood. We were going to go there, so we packed up the kids and headed on I-90 to that area. And when we got there, we found a place to shelter. We had a Chiweenie, so we sheltered the dog. And we went to go get a hotel. We didn't really plan ahead or think about, it being summertime or whatnot. So for like 30 miles around that place, we could not find a hotel. There was not one open. And there was nowhere to camp at the actual Silverwood itself. It was sold out. So we went to campgrounds around there because there was a lot, in the area, and they were literally all booked up. But one of them gave us this piece of paper with like directions out into federal land, like kind of heading east towards like Lake Pend-Oreille out there. Anyway, it says there's a lot of free camping out there, but it didn't. It just kind of sent you. It was odd. So we got this paper and we went towards there. We were looking at Google Maps, and we shot off into this forest area. We kind of found our way in, and we were driving through there, and there was no real camping spots, nowhere to really just kind of set up with three kids and feel safe, So we camped a lot. We camped around Barlow Pass in Washington State. I mean, a lot. We camped every other weekend for 2-3 years coming up to this. So pulling over and camping wasn't going to be an issue. There just wasn't really a good spot that felt okay. So as we were driving looking for a spot, we started seeing these signs that said The Lodge. And I think originally it said like 30 miles or something like that. We had a full tank of gas, and we figured, why not? We'll go to a lodge. We'll see if there's, if there's a lodge out here. We'll see. We had, we brought enough money. We figured we'd spend a few $100s if we had to get everybody into a place and be safe for the night. So we started following these signs, and it just took us deeper and deeper into the this area, this federal forest out there in Idaho. And we ended up coming to this point where we came out of the woods a little bit, and you could see the road where we had to go, and it was on the ridge of a mountain. To the left and to the right was a complete cliff drop off, and you could just see for miles in the distance. I mean, it was scary looking. There wasn't a whole lot of road to go across, so we go across this way. And not too long after this, for like 20 more minutes of driving, we come to this lodge, and it's not what you would think it is. It's definitely like people erected this. Folks that live out here that are not paying taxes. This is their spots. They're walking around out there with just guns and assault rifles out. The time of year this was in 2016, they had just passed an open carry law in Idaho, and these people were celebrating that there. So we felt very unsafe there. We didn't even ask if they had room. It looked like they might have had some type of in-structure thing going on, but we didn't even ask. We bought some milk to fill up the bottles, and we planned on going just a little farther to this lake area where on our map it said, I think it was Lake Pend-Oreille or Crystal Lake, some kind of lake right there, that it said there was going to be a rest stop or kind of area. So we were heading there, and when we got up to that area, it was clear that there were people just living there. I mean, there was kids in their underwear, up to 13, 14-year-olds, walking around in their underwear in and out of the lake and clotheslines, and it was like driving into somebody's front yard instead of what should have been a rest area with, bathrooms and stuff. And you can see the bathrooms, they've just been converted into a home. So anyway, we turned around and decided we're going to get out of there. And we were going back much quicker. We figured we would just drive farther away and look for a hotel. We didn't care if we ended up back in Washington. If we had to go to Spokane to get a hotel, we'd just drive back in the morning. So we were flying out of there, and we were going the same way for the most part that we came in. We were trying to follow it back out, and we never came to that ridge point where we came across, and it was really hairy. You're on the top of some seriously tall mountains, and you're just looking down both directions, and it's like in the movies. It's just wide enough for your vehicle to travel across. We never came back across that. Instead, we came out halfway into the area where there was this rest stop that on the left side of the hill, so we're driving on the road, and to our right, it dropped down. So it S down to a parking lot, and this is where we had our experience. This is where we both, my wife and I, had separate experiences, but just extremely strange. And it was paranormal, but it wasn't paranormal. So anyway, as I S down to the parking lot was rectangle. The driveway dropped kind of into the right center of the parking lot, and directly in front of you, it was just, it was a rectangle from left to right parking lot, and there was parking spots like maybe 12 to 15 from the left to the right, and directly in front of them was a guardrail, and it appeared the landscape just a few feet, after the guardrail kind of sloped down 2 to 3 feet, and then went out straight, and it kind of had that same appearance for a while, and there were some hills in the background. It definitely wasn't like the huge drop-off area you'd seen before. It was kind of plain. And we stopped there so the kids could go to the bathroom and whatnot, and I'd gotten out of the car with the dog, and my wife got out with one of the girls and had taken her, was walking her over to the bathroom that was, there was a bathroom off to the right in this parking lot area where we parked. And she was walking over there, and she was mentioning, like, that it looks strange, doesn't that look strange? And I was like, I don't know, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I was just kind of stretching my legs after getting out of that area in the woods. I was kind of, this open area, I was happy at. To the left of the parking lot, there was a trail that went off, and you could see that it kind of went over to, there was some kind of structure, like a roofing kind of, almost like a pier that would have a roof, like wood slatted on top, and you could see it kind of over to your left, just a little bit kind of outcropping. So I was going to take the dog and go walk over there, and my wife was bringing one of the girls back while I was telling her I was going to do that, and getting the other one to go to the bathroom. We had a youngest daughter was in a car seat, but she was asleep, so she wasn't in diapers. She wasn't going to be getting out. So I go over to the left, and I go down this trail, and it's a walking path that's cemented, and it goes in to the left and the right, and comes into this pier kind of. It's not a pier, but it's just an area that's covered, that's like 20 feet long. To the left, there's at waist height, there's like a display board that runs the length and to the end, and then it runs over in front of you directly, and then it comes back kind of like in a J shape, and it has writing and stuff on it. It's kind of explaining what is going on there. And as you're coming into this area, there's this structure on your left side is built into kind of like a rock wall that's maybe 3-4 feet tall right there, that's exposed over, you can see kind of over it for just a few feet. There's like a little landscape area right there, and then some, as you're walking into your left to this structure. So I walked into the structure, and I immediately just kind of walked into the back of it, and I looked out, and at the end of it. And I looked out into the direction where you would have been looking if you were at the car in the parking lot looking straight out. It was plain, but it looked different, and I can't even begin to explain what it looked like because my brain didn't accept what I saw. I can't even explain it better than that. I didn't see what I saw, but I saw something and was like, what the hell? And I looked down at the display board in front of me, and it didn't make any sense for what I was looking at. So I was like, okay. I turned to my left, and I was walking back to the beginning of this display board, which was also back kind of at the beginning of where the structure had started. And I got to that spot, so I'm right at kind of the beginning of this wood structure. And to the left of me is this little landscape area and that rock wall, that's the natural rock wall that's in this landscape area right there. And you could, if I wanted to, I could have climbed over that rock wall and kind of went over the structure and ran out to where, down out to the area that I was looking at, but this wasn't my intention. It's right there, And behind, just a little farther back, that's woods, so you can't really, it's all green with the trees and whatnot, so you can't do anything. You just have to go back out that path back up to the parking lot. So just this landscape, me standing there, and while I'm standing there, somebody comes over that rock wall, and it looks just like a person, like me, and they look like they're wearing like blue or green Columbia like reindeer kind of wear, you know what I mean? And and like the hood's on or something's up, because I can make out the outline. Now this is in my peripheral, so I'm seeing this very quickly. Somebody takes 2 steps, they squat down just like I would on top of a structure or a drop anywhere you're kind of coming to the edge of, like a loading dock, and you're going to jump off, but you don't want to completely just jump off. So you kind of squat down, put a hand down, and then just kind of leap down, you know? This person did that. And as they were doing this, it scared me. Like, they completely caught me off guard. So I was like, oh my God, you scared me. And as I was saying that, I was looking toward them, and I stopped. I didn't get it all the way out because, like, fear of what I was looking at or seeing just completely, I mean, when you get goosebumps or goose pimples and all your hair stands up, that happened times 10. Like, just immediately it felt like my skin all over my body. It was like an inch off my body, because what I saw, I could see through. This person wasn't like a defined person like you would see a person. I could see through them, kind of like the Predator or something in the movie, except it wasn't, the middle part of the person wasn't like shaped kind of like, you know, like a 3D image you were looking for. It was just kind of distorted and blurry, and it wasn't right, you know. And the person, when they moved, had an outline that was kind of like when you see like one of those NASA feeds, and it's of the Earth or whatever, and it's got the sun or whatever, some type of light hitting the atmosphere, and it's got that just light, thin yellow line that kind of glows above the atmosphere. This thing had that. It was like that same type of yellow neon, just kind of glowing around the very outside of it when it moved. And when it stopped moving, like, so this thing, this guy dropped, and it was a guy, for all of my life experience, this was a person, not a Bigfoot, not anything crazy. This guy was my build, a little taller. I'm 5'5", this guy was about 5'8", 5'9", and kind of just military build, if that makes sense. And the attire, when I think back, was very much just military kind of outline attire. That the kind of how do you explain it? Like a raincoat or something. The outline is not straight. It's not a straight line for your arm or whatever, because there's like wrinkles in the fabric or whatever. So anyway, this guy dropped. He like squatted down. He dropped down, and I turned and said, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, you scared me." You know what I mean? And I stopped. I didn't get it. You scared me all the way out, because the person, when they dropped down, they took like a step forward, and they turned like facing me and put their arms at their side, and they just stopped moving. And when they stopped moving, and like the slower they went to when they stopped, that outline just kind of, it got harder to see, and the distortion between them kind of cleared, like in between the lines, like where his body was, kind of cleared up, and he just disappeared. Like he was gone. When he stopped moving, I couldn't see anything. And oh my God, I freaked out. I didn't jump or scream right now. My heart beat insanely in my chest. And my dog, I looked back up this, you know, to the end of the structure where I looked out originally, and to see my dog or say something to my dog, like, "Oh, what's going on?" And the dog had ran like away. He wasn't there. I looked back. He was back up the cement trail, the path that led out of there, with his tail between his legs and his ear down, hauling ass. And I had to follow him, and I had to step by this guy. Now, this landscape was right next to the trail, and this is an enclosed area, so to walk down the path to go back out of here, you had to walk right by this person that was standing there, and this person was close enough that if they wanted to, they could have put their arm out, like leaned out and just grabbed me. So it scared me tremendously. And I ended up yelling, "Bull, what's wrong?" And I like kind of took a step or two and then just broke into a dead sprint after the dog. I got out of that area back into the parking lot there. I didn't even look back. I was running, and as I ran to the car, I was slowing down in front of the car. All the kids were in the car, but my wife was in front of the truck, and she was just staring out into that open landscape area that's still kind of plain, and she was asking me, "Do you see that?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I mean, I was scared out of my mind. And she noticed it right away and was asking, "What's wrong?" And I was telling her, I think I just saw something. We got to go. And I just wanted her to get in the car. And she's like, "Do you see that over there, though? Doesn't that look funny? It's a green screen." I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was getting in the vehicle while she's saying this, and she was getting in with me. And I never stopped to take the time, because I was so scared to look at what she was looking at, or to really appreciate what she was saying. I began to get more of what she was talking about as we were getting out of there. But my my concern once leaving that rest area or whatever that was to just get the hell out of there. I wanted back to civilization, out of that whole federal forest area. So it was later that I could actually hear her and hear what she was saying. And what she was saying was that when we parked, looking directly out in front of us, she could see a line, a square. She could make out a defined square where there was a green screen where the landscape didn't match what was on the side of it. I mean, I don't know how to explain it any better than that. Like the colors were off. Like she hopefully will call in one day and explain this from her side of it, and let you know that because she didn't see what I saw and experience what I experienced, and I didn't really experience what she experienced. But for lack of better understanding, she said that the entire landscape in front of us, to a point from left to right and at a certain height, and began at a certain distance out. That she said we could have walked out, or if we would have picked up rocks, she said we could have thrown it at him at this scene in front of us, and that it would have gone through it or hit something. Or she was adamant that what she was seeing was fake. It was just a screen projecting like an image, and yeah. So I ran. I don't know what that was or what we saw, but it definitely was not paranormal in the sense of Bigfoot and UFOs and all of those kind of things. It was this was like, man, this was definitely a human. I mean, there was nothing that scared me in that sense while I experienced it. And my wife's experience with the green screen, it would all kind of suggest, I don't know, some type of military operation or movement, or I don't know. I'd hate to. I'm speculating, but I hate to speculate, and I don't know for the life of me. I looked out at the landscape from the end of that structure, and I have a blank. I do not know what I saw. I know that it didn't match what I thought I should be seeing, and that's why I walked over to go and begin reading what the display area was saying about the area and why it was or whatever. And that's when the dude dropped down next to me and changed my whole perception of what you should be aware of and afraid of. And it's potentially people out there hunting and doing things. They might, these see-through things. I don't think those are necessarily always Bigfoots or ghosts. I think there's definitely some kind of technology being used that's hiding people. And I think that movement and light, neon, things like that have something to do with how they're working. Anyway, that's my experience.